Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing? So, I was going through the list of the new Primal Unique, and at first I noticed some very good stuff, like the Secret of Blinding, and I thought that the damage could be scaled with the shield, and turns out it can't. So, that one went out the window. Then the True Sight Glass looks very exciting, but when you do the math, it's not that great. Decent, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not the greatest. Then I saw the Tyrant skill, and then I started to get really excited because freaking T-Rex. You can have a T-Rex leading an army of squirrel, and that's just glorious, right? But then I went for a second look, and I look in more details, and I think a lot of people forgot to click on items like the chorus of the Anurok, and look at the skill itself. And when you read it, look at the top. It's 3% more damage for each 1% AoE. And then look at the scaling. 4% fee spend per point of strength, 4% crit multi per point of dex, 1 flat crit chance per attunement, and then 6% increased million damage per character level, which is not the same thing as the 60% power that you get from leveling up. So it's the scaling is out of control on this, completely out of control. Now you can also look in the minion itself, and you can see that it has a 35% more movement speed and a 50% more damage. So that's even more scaling for you. Then you can check out some of the skills. So it's not very clear, to be fair. You have a jump, which, okay, that one is pretty clear. It's just gonna lip slam onto enemies. Then it's tongue stab, tongue slam, tongue slap. So, yeah, I'm guessing this is just a single target from very far away. This might be a very small AoE, and this is just a normal close range single target attack. Right? But it's not very clear, so I guess you'll have to see that in game and see the difference. So now, how do we take advantage of all of this? Well, we just scale attribute. We scale strength, dexterity, attunement, and that's how we get these crazy numbers. So let's look at the difference real quick. It's pretty easy to capture res. You're gonna get 4k or more, and on top of that, you get capped out your endurance and a decent threshold. So that's it for our defense. No blocks instead of going dual wielding. So regarding the gear, I'm just gonna go quickly above everything. The most important thing to notice is like the LP on the unique item are very achievable. I stayed within the realm of very easy to achieve, right? So the second thing that's very important to notice is that all my choices were about min-maxing this number. The base damage for minion, I think like when you have such a high scaling, like we get a 910 fees here, plus the 600 on the minion once we are level 100, and the pen from the strength, then the crit damage from the dexterity. It's like the more damage that comes from the AoE. There's so much scaling. So the base damage, every point of base damage is going to make a huge difference for the total DPS. So that's what I did. So for the amulet necklace, then obviously you go for the Fang. That's where we have the most melee fees. Same with the tools. I could have gone for the there's an axe that gives minion melee damage, but this Nal's tooth also gives minion movement speed, and the implicit has some strength in it. So that's some V spend on top of it. So this by far the best weapon. So we get 2 of them, right? The belt is also one of the easiest to achieve for LP, and it gives us dex and minion damage, so for me it's a no-brainer. Then this rings is also very good. Let's call it a support because it gives all attribute and some life and a decent amount of LP. but mainly it's for the swiftness, right? I want to be able to move faster, so this is like almost mandatory for me ring. But the other one is the Ribbon of Blood, because we get some increased health, and then we get some life leech for our minion, and that's very good because it's gonna help with sustaining the minion, right? We don't have a lot of defense for this because, well, this lets us to believe that the minion are gonna be resummoned as soon as they die. They have no duration, and the combined number of Anurok and companion is equal to your maximum number of companion, which means that when one's die, one need to be resummoned in order to stay to that maximum. So that's what this the helmet itself led us to believe, but we'll see. And just in case we have some life on hit, life leech for the minion, that's very good. And this is the only ring that gives melee fist damage. I mean flat fist damage for the minion. Also makes them immune to crit for some reason. But it's fine. You know, we take it. The gloves are weird because it's the Falconer gloves, right? But all I want from them is the minion movement speed. Like 50% minion movement speed is really good, and I get some dex on top of that. So that's all I'm asking for. That's all I want. There might be some better choice for gloves if you disregard the minion movement speed, but I really want to get as much as possible. So that's why I'm getting this. And the most important part on this is the minion area skill. Same with the amulet, right? Because remember, we get 1% more damage for each increased area of minion. So that's 120% more damage. That's almost 160% more damage. It's crazy, right? The boots follow the same principle. There might be some better boots out there if you disregard minion movement speed, but I don't. I really like minion movement speed because they're gonna be roaming around a lot. They are close single target minions, which means they need to get around a lot and fast in order for the build to feel good. So that's why the boots and the gloves are being chosen with that in mind. And for the relic, this relic is one that gives a lot of strength and endurance threshold, armor. So it's a defensive choice basically, right? It's a defensive choice with a decent amount of strength, which is really good for me. That's all I can be asking for. I don't think there is a lot of good choices otherwise for relic. There might be some other uh, layer of defense that you could take on relic and go another way, but since we already are scaling endurance, I think this is pretty decent, right? So that's why this relic is in there. And then on the idle side, the land before is not a primordial, which means we can use that one. And since the Anurok are not counted as companion, then we are not affected by the downside of this relic. So we just get flat plus for companion or Anurok. That's very good, right? The rest of the relic are either increased minion crit strike chance in order to cap out, or it is increased minion melee attack speed. Right? Pretty easy. And you can get it on 2x2 or 3x1 or 4x1 also. So a lot of choices, right? That's what I went for. And then the single relic, the single slot relic, is just there to give a little bit more armor and fix up some resistance, right? Now, most of the tree is very straightforward. We want to max out the attributes, right, as much as possible. So we're gonna get 8 attunement, 8 strength, then 1 point for the dual wielding, and then the rest just to get to 20 as minion damage, right? And on the Beastmaster, well, we get our +1 companion here, then another +1 here, and the last +1 comes from here. So we have +3 from the Beastmaster 3, then +2 from the item, +2 from the base, +4 from the idol, which is how we get our 11 companion limit. And so on this Beastmaster 3, we get strength, get some minion damage, Then we go back for minion move speed and attack speed, some more trends, some decks. You see the pattern here? Then we get some flat melee damage, very good. Then that so then here is how we get our haste, 50% chance when we have this many hit per second with the minion. Maybe I didn't understood that right, but it does say that you and your minion have a chance to gain haste for 1 second on it, so they're gonna get the haste, and same for me. So pretty easy. Now the last point that you get on the tree is 20 stats, so 10 strength, 10 dex. A very straightforward tree. Grab all the stats and flat damage. That's about it. Now on the druid part, we just put some endurance and armor just to get to this node, which gives us 7 attunement, 7 strength, and 1 other attribute. Then just enough point on the fist damage, minion fist damage, in order to reach the attack speed, cast speed. Then we go into the shaman and we get some more attunement here. Just a little bit of increased damage in order to reach the last attunement and get 7 more here. So as you see, the tree is all about getting these attributes, right? It's all about attribute, attribute, attribute. And this way with the attunement, we have 46, which means plus 46 crit chance, and we already have 5, so it's 51 crit chance. And then with your relic, you can get 100% crit chance for minion very easily and kept it out. And finally, let's take a look at the skills. So it's very hard to pick what to put in the build. So I went for a full support setup. You can take a look and change some things because I think it's not the most optimal way. But let me explain to you what is the idea. The Summon Frenzy Totem gives us some attack speed and some flat damage, on top of giving us the chance to automatically cast Etera's Blessing on a minion. Then the Lip Slam, just here to move around, and also buff for 3 seconds, get a buff of 15 melee damage, which on top of the 25 from the totem is start to be a lot. Then the Etera's Blessing is here for some health regen, and this little node right here that gives minions 30% move speed and attack speed. So it's very good. The Warcry, we use the totem, which just keeps on spamming the Warcry. And when the minion gets affected by the Warcry, they gain 100% crit. So if you want and spam your totem all the time, then you can get all the creatures that you need just from the totem, which made the creatures you get from the relic redundant. But I think the gameplay would be too reliant on this, and I think getting some creatures on the relic is like a little bit of redundancy is not that bad, right? Then it gets us some healing, cleanse element, and apply frailty. So the totem that's gonna be spamming the Warcry is gonna be applying frailty, which reduces the damage done by the affected minion enemy. And that's about it for the Warcry. And the only reason we get this totem is because of this node, armor shred chances. So I'm just gonna use this on bosses. Spawn the totems around the boss. The boss gonna get armor shred, which basically increase my damage, right? And that's the only reason I have the Summon totem. And I don't know. I looked at what I could replace it with, Spriggan form maybe, but this doesn't sound incredible. I was also thinking maybe I could reduce the Anuroks by 1 and then get 1 minion to maybe buff the rest of the Anurok, but there's nothing sexy. The roar is not good enough. The Sabertooth is also not great. The wolf howl requires the wolf to actually kill, and they he's never gonna kill anything if there's only one against an army of frogs, of super frog, I should say. Same with the raptor. So I don't know. The crows requires to do a lot of different choices in order to be interesting. So really, I don't. The skill part is. If you have any suggestion, please feel free to do so. Leave a comment and let me know how you would change the skill. I'm very curious. As far as the relic goes, there's only two relic that you really wanna use. It's this increased melee attack speed for minion and the increased crit chance, right? So as soon as you're capped, the rest of the relic are crit chance. Then the small one can just be armor and resistance fix. As far as the blessing goes, you get some res, you get some armor. That's about it, really. There's no the minion damage. I think it's here, right? You have to choose between minion damages and armor, and I think maybe you can get minion damage in the beginning, but when you push corruption, the flat armor should be a lot more useful for the build. Alright, enough said. Video is already too long, so that's gonna be my starter build. That's what I'm gonna go for straight away. First, I'm gonna be playing some kind of wearbear starter to level up, and then as soon as I get the helmet, boom, I'm done. That's it. I'm going full of frog. That's about it. Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. So drop me a follow if you want to see how the build goes, and then I catch you guys in the next one. See ya.